Ken Brecker took over as the head of the LA Library Foundation a few years ago, one of the first things that he wanted to do was rethink what role the library's collections had in the public sphere. And he came up with the idea of mining the LA Public Library. So we had a conversation about what it would mean to mine the music that had gone unheard within the LA Public Library, and lo and behold, there's roughly 50,000 pieces of individual sheet music in the stacks of the music library at the Central Library downtown. We started looking through the sheet music to see what we could find. We didn't know what we would find. And little by little, we started noticing song after song that had something to do with Los Angeles. Song after song that had something to do with Southern California, either in the name of the song, in the stamp about where the song was published, artists that we recognized, themes, oranges, sunshine, beaches. And the idea occurred to us that we need to create the first ever collection of Southern California sheet music. So the first thing we decided to do was get them recorded. So I convinced the folks at Bedrock LA to let us into their main recording studio, and we brought 5 contemporary Los Angeles artists. I let them go through a selection of sheet music. They each chose a song that they wanted to record, and so I wanted to make sure that we had artists who represented different scenes and different histories relating to Los Angeles music, and also artists whose tastes and whose affiliations to different scenes and styles in the city lined up with some of the themes within the songs that we had. I see Hawks in LA, who are kind of come out of the California cosmic country legacy, perhaps best known in the work of artists like Graham Parsons and the Byrds. And they do a song about the San Joaquin Valley that's perfect. It actually sounds like a song from one of their earlier records, so it was a really perfect match.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, I'm rolling. You guys feel free to play whenever.
All right, we want to do a little run through here.
Thinking of my happy home I left long years ago, far away among the clover and the wheat, where I spent my happy childhood in the dear old orange grove, while the mockingbirds were singing in the tree. The San Joaquin song just stuck right out. We have a few different songs about the San Joaquin Valley that have sort of similar themes, you know, kind of longing for old California, you know, longing for this kind of Garden of Eden, you know, that was here. That still draws people out here. I mean, I grew up in Minnesota and I got drawn out just like everybody else.
Yeah, I feel real connected to it because my family came out from Ohio to California to Los Angeles in the 1920s. So, I mean, that's 90 years ago. Songs like these were songs that my grandma, you know, would have sung to me when I was real little. Both those things, the style, the time period, and the subject matter, I have a real connection to that stuff.
My family has very deep roots in the San Joaquin Valley. On my mom's side, they're all Irish immigrants and came straight to San Francisco and got a land grant in 1869. The Bakersfield area and outer Bakersfield area. They still own the land. I think they still have hung on to 160 acres out there, so we have pretty deep roots in the San Joaquin.
Rob said, you know, I really like the lyrics to this one, and I looked at it and I started looking at the music and I thought, gosh, this kind of, it's except for some kind of old-fashioned chords and stuff, and a couple of old-fashioned like passages. It's really kind of in our wheelhouse musically too. You know, it's kind of country. It's kind of cool.
There's no low part on that first San Joaquin, right? Yeah, let me just throw that on.
We knew that we could change the music if we wanted to, but I said, this music's pretty good. We all just kind of said, you know, we changed a couple of things, but mostly we just kind of went with what was there.
Really just one. It was in the first...
Oh, yeah.
Is that the first chorus?
Like the,
I guess it's
I'm
the
not sure.
pre-chorus.
It's the B section, yeah.
It's
It's
not
kind of
really a chorus in this song to me, but it was just they resolved to the one prematurely, which is kind of what those old songs did. It's like, we need to hold the tension here, so I just made it a 4. I mean, just very minor. It's almost exactly as it was written.
Just a hair more. Heart is crushed and sad, 'tis the resting place of Dad, my California homestead far away.
What do you think?
Well, from where I sit, I would think that we might want to just drop the 2-part stuff.
Well, also in the mix, it's going to be much less noticeable.
Yeah.
It's just going to kind of be supportive. Hopefully.
What do you mean drop the 2-part?
The places where I couldn't find a 3rd part but maybe it's cool that way, you know, I don't know. You guys decide. Do I need to sing more?
No, you need to come in.
Okay. Love that. Love it when he says that.
The sheet music is pretty much for piano, yeah. Pretty simple piano, too. It's something that somebody was supposed to take home and play in their parlor. You know, they went out to the sheet music store, they bought the music, and they took it home and they played it at a party.
We're a very nostalgic band. You know, in many ways, too many time periods. But with this song, it's like, it's the longing is exactly the same as I feel right now. You know, it's like, even in 1904, they were longing for the past California Garden of Eden. I don't know, was it a myth? Was it real? I'm not sure. You know, I guess it was some of both, but we're still doing it, you know? And that's that just fit for me.
I think we've taken the development of California a little too far, and hopefully a lot of the concrete will crack and fade away. And it really was a Garden of Eden. That's why there's 32 million people here now. Rather than nostalgia, I would call it more like let's slow things down here a little bit.
Where at night the pale moon gleams, roses bloom there all the time, and the sun doth ever shine in the valley of the San Joaquin. Roses bloom there all the time, and the sun doth ever shine in the valley of the San Joaquin.
Aloe Blacc, a contemporary hip-hop and R&B artist, and I wanted him to really, you know, a big part of the collection is the relationship between the history of African American music and the history in the long history of Los Angeles, and so he chose a song not written by African American songwriters from 1917, and actually did 2 versions of it, did a very literal version and then reinterpreted it as a kind of a blues. It was a perfect example of that transformation that we were hoping to hear.
Got a wire from a friend of mine out there, told me of his marriage to this girl so fair. They had met up on the train, now I don't know just who to blame. All right, headphones. Took a California girl to win my heart, bought the ring and everything and had to part. Kissed her goodbye at the train, never heard from her again. Got a wire from a friend of mine out there, told me of his marriage to this girl so fair. They had met up on the train. Now I don't know just who to blame. Coming from hip hop music, you know, you just make it up all on your own. Otherwise, you're sampling from people who largely probably didn't work with sheet music. You know, were probably self-taught musicians and recorded amazing songs, and then, you know, makes it into my record collection, and I sample it, write lyrics on top. And as a songwriter, I rarely, but no, I just don't. I never work with sheet music. I never transcribe anything. It's not my world at all. My world is to think it and then play it. And if someone else wants to play it, they're gonna have to figure it out. Got a wire from a friend of mine out there. Told me of his marriage to this girl so fair. They had met up on the train. Now I don't know just who to blame. When the girl you love, when the girl. Tyler.
Yes, sir.
At the top of the chorus, I want to punch in. When the girl you love lives in California.
Punch in or double?
Punch.
Punch, all right.
Working off sheet music definitely changes the way I approach the creative process, because I want to hear the voice of the writers. I want to know what they intended. And sheet music tells you. It gives you all of the rhythms, the key, all the direction you need to recreate what they intended. And then once you've done that, you can kind of get an idea of some of the nuances that they may not have put in the writing. Once you learn it in the voice that it's written in, sky's the limit. And you can interpret it in your own voice and interpret it in almost any era, any genre. I definitely feel like the landscape changes it. I mean, you know, beach culture and the mixture of rock or punk and ska in the stuff that came out of like Huntington Beach and some of the bands that come from the coast. You can definitely tell that's not something that would really happen anywhere else. As a lyricist, reading the lyrics and thinking about how it's put together, you can tell linguistically that it was a different time, and you can tell that the wording and the way that things are described completely different from how they would be described today. I don't know, you just get a sense of this other time but the emotions are all still the same. When the girl you love lives in California and you're living down in New York, it's a long way to go when you want to kiss and you can't keep your eye on your love and miss. There's lots of boys out there in California who'd like to fondle her too, and she's apt to forget that we ever met when she was. Yeah, it's a love song, a song about longing, a little bit of desperation, a little bit of self-doubt, you know. Quite an interesting story, and I thought it was probably the easiest to interpret in an alternate way, like in a blues way, because it sounds like, lyrically, it sounds like a blues song. When the girl you love lives in California, and you're living way down in New York, it's a long way to go when you want to kiss, and you can't keep your eye on your loving this. There's a lot of boys out there in California, they want to fondle her too, and she's apt to forget that you ever met.
Julia Holter, who's a really interesting contemporary musician whose work I think kind of straddles art music and contemporary electronic music and songwriting. And she chose a beautiful song about mission bells chiming. And I had a feeling that she would connect with that idea of this kind of strange pop song inspired by the sound of mission bells. And she actually recreated it as a kind of unpop song, and it captures waves of breaking and angelic voices in a pretty extraordinary way, in a way that I don't think I expected to hear.
It'll all be kind of like that. Like it doesn't, maybe it'll get a little louder at the chorus.
No, that's fine.
I might just, like, I'm gonna try different sounds too, like keyboard sounds.
Sure. Feel free to mess around and...
But for now, I'll just start with that one, I think. Okay, it's this one. I grew up going to the library. The time I think I spent the most at the library, at the Central Library especially, was looking for scores when I was in college. Collection of music scores, like new music and old classical music and stuff.
Down by the sea, down by the sea.
I kind of looked through a bunch and I liked them, but I liked this one because it was a little bit more mysterious and I didn't really understand it, but I thought the imagery was really nice, and it wasn't quite as, it had some of them were just sort of more typical love songs about come back to me or something, but this one had like very specific imagery of like by the sea, and I thought that was nice. And the mission, which is mysterious, and why is the mission there, and I liked that.
That's better. Sorry, I'm just considering slightly changing some sounds.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm putting a reverb effect on this sound.
Yep.
And this is it without it. Do you think it's better for me to do it without it and then we can put it on the computer?
That's generally the idea.
And I think you're right. I didn't realize that I had it. That was from, I did a show last night.
Sure.
So maybe it's better. This is it without it. It might be a little less of crazy sound.
At first I just like played through it on the piano to get a sense of the music, and then I also recorded myself playing through on the piano. But then I decided that first of all I couldn't really sing it very well because it was like in a weird key for me, so I transposed it. And then I also just looked at what the chords were and kind of looked at it harmonically and just wrote down the chords instead of looking at the sheet music. So that really opened it up for me to like arrange it my own way on keyboard instead of playing the piano arrangement that was very specific. LA is like vast and it has like all these like tiny little things happening here and there, tiny little enclaves of groups of people that are doing stuff, and there's really not like one sound because there's so many different types of people and people with different perspectives, and that's why I never get bored here.
I will return and then no more my heart will
There seems to be a voice.
The Petrojvic Blasting Company, who are a Balkan and early jazz brass band, who probably are best known for the work they do on the streets of Los Angeles. They play farmers markets, they busk, and you know they're a public band, they're a street band, and they fit the period. They know the 20s music really, really well, and they took a while to find the song that they liked that fit their sensibility perfectly, and I think the one they chose, they put a nice kind of marching band slash Balkan oomph behind it, and it was a perfect match.
That E and G are focus on this F.
You just me? Yeah.
Hitting that
I'm
F.
trying to.
I know.
Let's just
Think
try.
that's-
Well, we did do some preparation where we wrote out the 4-part harmonies before, because the sheet music has 2-part harmony already, and we wanted to all sing, so we wrote out a 4-part harmony. I tried to play it on the piano by myself and it didn't sound any good, so we recorded it all together. Actually, can you mute the vocal on that leads in the verse vocal? Because I was singing pretty out of tune. I don't like to hear myself out of tune right from the beginning. We were having trouble finding anything that really matched our band sound. We realized that we just needed to pick one that would be a challenge for us. We went with a waltz, which we almost never play waltzes. Kind of a more pretty song, which is also not usually our style. And I thought it was fun to pick one that was just kind of out of the realm of what we might normally play. I think the 1920s-ness of the song, that in particular wasn't so hard to get our heads around. It seemed like the whole sheet music and the kind of the way the song was, it seemed like maybe we needed to have something more, like more arranged, something more for listening in a salon type of thing. And then when we got in here, it seemed to fit us a lot better just to play the way we play other 1920s music, which is loudly and not so salon-like. Because LA is quite is sequestered the right word? It's in sections, and people hide out in their homes and in their cars, and you don't just naturally run into people. You kind of have to seek them out or just know them already. It helps a lot to play music you like out in public, and then the people who like it find you. And then you find them and their friends and their families, and so if you play Serbian music, for instance, you might get to play a Serbian wedding, and then you meet all the Serbs in LA, at this one wedding, and then you know lots of people in Serbia when you go there. And it's a kind of quirks like this, like you find a rabbit hole of the population of the music that you are trying to play out.
In playing the music, we found the relevant populations
here, yeah,
and that's revealed
true.
Much about Los Angeles for me.
Lastly, the Santa Cecilia, band from East Los Angeles and South Los Angeles and other zones in the city, who got their start playing on Olvera Street. And I asked if they would record an Olvera Street song in the collection, a piece of sheet music based on one restaurant. And so that was a natural fit.
Buenas noches, amigos. Welcome to your favorite café, Café Caliente, here in the heart of Los Angeles, California, Olvera Street. Let's start the party. Cuando bailan, todos cantan, como cantan las chapanecas. When your heart is light, then your step is bright. Take your partner's hand and swing around. Dos palmadas.
Well, we just recorded this song called Las Chapanecas. It's a song that was sung by Elenita at Café Caliente on Olvera Street, and we had a ball just messing around with it and changing the rhythm and singing Las Chapanecas. Actually, it's a song that we've all heard. I mean, you hear them in Ballet Folklorico, they play them a lot, and it's like a dance from Chiapas, Las Chapanecas. And I always thought it was just an instrumental song. On the sheet music, there was English lyrics and Spanish lyrics that were made, so we kind of just put both in there.
Swing chapanecas, ay, ay. Oh, swing. Ay, chapanecas, ay, ay. Swing chapanecas, ay, ay. Ay, chapanecas, ay, ay. Dance, dance, subimos, vengan, sing, sing, sing chapanecas. Ya no tenemos pena, ya estamos alegres. Dance, dance, subimos, vengan, sing, sing, sing chapanecas. Ya no tenemos pena, ya estamos alegres.
We made a few changes by taking the music different places. We made the Chapanecas swing. We made them dance norteño, right?
Yep.
And we made them, make a mosh pit.
Dance, dance, subimos, make us sing, swing, sing chapanecas. Ya no tenemos pena, ya estamos alegres. Dance, dance,
Pepe and I met each other on Olvera Street when we were like teenagers, and we grew up there. We learned about music and traditional music on Olvera Street, with all the norteños, mariachis, trios. That's the first place where we started playing our own music and just kind of messing around with the traditional stuff that we already played and with our own ideas and stories and songs. Olvera Street, yeah, is very much a tourist spot. I mean, I'm sure it was like the first city walk or Hollywood and Highland of 1930s, right? And with all the Mexican curios that you could dream of. My grandfather who came and started selling little pottery and then have the burro with the, where we'd take photos because it reminds them of home, because you can go to the church, you can go to the plaza, you can have your churro and café caliente and just hang out with the family.
What makes an LA song an LA song? And what is the key of Los Angeles? I think we'd probably all agree there is no single key of Los Angeles. That Los Angeles is this much larger spectrum of sounds and notes and chords and styles, of timbres and tones. We're trying to push people to think about what does it mean to live, to think, to make music in the key of this city. What do you hear when you put your ear to LA? What does LA sound like? And I hope that these songs are just the beginning of that conversation.
Took a California girl to win my heart. I bought the ring and everything that had to part. Kissed her goodbye at the train. Never heard from her again. Got a wire from a friend of mine out there. Told me of his marriage to this girl so fair. They had met up on the train. Now I don't know who to blame when the girl you love lives in California and you're living down in New York. It's a long way to go when you want to kiss and you can't keep you around your loving miss. There's lots of boys out there in California who'd like to fondle her too, and she's apt to forget that we ever met when she once gets away from you. I just got a letter from that girl of mine. Says she's separated from her Valentine, and she had the nerve to say she would be mine any day. Although poets tell us true love's always blind, somehow I just cannot keep her from my mind.